Today on Peliculas with the Bros, we review the movie The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky, and we have hot takes like Brendan Fraser is back, baby!
You're the whale.
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
And welcome everybody to the show. This is Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And Peliculas with the Bros is a show where me and my brother Ivan talk about a show No, we don't. We talk about a movie. Every week we talk about a new movie. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
The whale.
The Whale. Doom. You'll get it if you watch the movie. The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky. But before we get into that, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like I said, this is Peliculas with the Bros. Every week we make a new show. We upload it to all your podcast platforms that you like, and we also upload it to YouTube. And you can look us up, Peliculas with the Bros, and you can hit that subscribe button if you're into this kind of thing. And we just basically we review a movie every week. We try to do a new movie. Sometimes good movies don't come out, so we do bad movies like Black Adam, Ivan's favorite movie. So if you're into that kind of thing, hit that subscribe, rate, comment, subscribe, all those kind of things. But yeah. And also, lastly, let us know what you think about The Whale. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you not like it? Stuff like that. Right, Ivan?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, Ivan, are you ready to just eat so much? Just like, have you ever wanted to just like order a pizza? No.
Done it.
Have you ever wanted to order 2 pizzas
Done it.
and a pint of ice cream
Close to done it.
and just been like, here we go?
I don't have to imagine.
You've done that? 2 pizzas and an ice cream pint?
I haven't ate all of it, but
But the goal is like,
it's existed in front of me.
have you done a whole pizza and a pint of ice cream?
Like, eat it all?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You can eat a whole pizza, right? A large?
If I'm prepped.
Gotcha. I can easily, yeah. The other day I ate a lot of pizza slices, and I think it messed with like my mental state the next day.
I believe that.
So are you ready to do that?
Yes.
Okay, because the movie today is The Whale. Written by Samuel D. Hunter, directed by Darren Aronofsky. Ivan, the premise is as follow. In this dark and dank film, Charlie is a gay man who left his wife and kid for one of his college students. A few dark turns have led him to become morbidly obese. Now he spends 100% of his time in his apartment where he teaches an online class. He asks his students to write something honest that comes from within. Now it's his turn to be honest with the people in his life as he is close to death. Ivan, with the cast, a small but oh so repugnant cast of Brendan Fraser as Charlie. Is it Fraser or Fraser?
Fraser.
Sadie Sink as Ellie, Hong Chow as Liz, Ty Simpkins as Thomas the missionary, and Samantha Morton as Mary, Charlie's ex-wife. Ivan, Darren Aronofsky is directing this film. His movies are as follows. Give me a if you've seen it before. Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, The Wrestler.
Hey.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Black Swan.
Eh.
Noah. Mother. The Whale. It's so stupid. Okay. Out of those movies, I've only seen Black Swan. I thought going into this movie, I was like, I've seen like half of Aronofsky's films. I only seen Black Swan. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
What would you describe his styles from the movies that you watched of his?
A deeply flawed human experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes a sick man to be so interested in this kind of theme, right? And he keeps coming back to it. From what I've noticed that his movies are dark, for lack of a more specific word, and psychological dramas. So, kind of like delving into the
issues.
the issues of problematic or people that have tumultuous lives.
Yes.
Black Swan,
Yes.
one of your favorite movies, right?
It's good.
I feel like we've talked about it. Like you've talked about it so much for me, but maybe I'm kind of crazy. But I feel like you mentioned it.
Didn't we have a podcast on it?
We did, but I also think you mentioned it where you're like Black Swan, like that's a great movie,
Yeah, it is.
but it's not.
I don't remember. I mean,
It's not top 10, right?
nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Just double checking. I like that movie a lot because of how it mixed, just like the straight up drama of a regular movie that's talking about someone that has issues in their life, but also how it mixed the real with surreal, and the motifs in that movie, like how it used the ballet and its the aesthetics to create kind of like a villain, like an anti-hero slash villain coming of not coming of age. It's a origin story.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant. So I really like that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, not top 10. Here on Peliculas with the Bros, we like to look at how the sausage was made, and what a better movie than what a more aperitif movie, you know? What a more aperitif movie to look at how the sausage was made than The Whale. Ivan, let's look at how this movie was made. It was written by Samuel D. Hunter, which it was originally a play. And before Aronofsky was signed up to do this, Tom Ford, your favorite designer, and James Corden, your favorite late night show host, were signed up to direct and star in this film.
Ew.
Yeah, it would have been weird. Tom Ford supposedly is like a good director.
I'm okay with that. More James Corden.
Yeah, that would have been weird. And but in any case, Aronofsky, he's been waiting a decade to make this movie. When they say that, I think it's kind of misleading because it's more like he has other things in his bag and he's just putting this in the back burner. But supposedly he watched a movie with Fraser and he's like, he's the guy. And that was like in the mid 2000s. Eventually A24 picks up this movie. They release it. One of the big things about this movie is Fraser, which we'll talk about his performance, but
Big.
oh, huge. Brendan Fraser, Ivan. What a man.
Graham cracker of a man.
There's nothing more apropos.
What was the other word you used?
Aperitif.
That's the word I like.
Apropos than Graham Cracker meant to describe our boy, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
He's been missing, quote unquote, but he's been there all of our childhood, at least specifically for me growing up. I think I've seen George of the Jungle at least 15 times. Hilarious movie as a kid, and I think I watched it the other day. Well, not the other day, but last year, and it was okay. Anyways, The Mummy, like, The Mummy was a cultural phenomenon, and it was also a movie that was. They don't make it like that anymore. Like the classic swashbuckler adventure movie that has a mix of romance, horror, and adventure. And it was a huge success. It launched him to superstar status. But he waned off. There's beliefs that he was blackballed. We're not here to talk about that. But I'm here to talk about who is this Brendan Fraser guy? What makes him special? In your opinion? Because I have an odd...
I think he's just a genuinely good person.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I don't think that's true.
You think he's a bad person, Adrian?
I just don't know it. I don't know him. Like someone that gets blackballed, you wouldn't say they're genuinely good people. Like that's not the first thing that.
Why are
would
you
come
siding with Hollywood?
Because where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't believe that. I think it was more his mental state that got him blackballed. quote unquote blackballed. Like
Mhm.
I believe more so that he probably was kind of like a handful to work with.
Mhm.
And this is all me just like looking at it and breaking him down psychologically. He was probably broken because of his success and how it dramatically dropped,
Mhm.
and then coupled with the fact he had issues with like I think he also had issues with like eating his weight, you know,
Mhm.
and also like he got a lot of shame for basically going bald when he had like
That's why he got blackballed, Adrian.
oh yeah once you lose that hair, baby. But when you because like think of how damn handsome this man was in The Mummy, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of I was looking up The Mummy on my phone the other day. There's like a T-shirt, and they're like the T-shirt said The Mummy, more like my daddy, and it had his face there, and I was like, God, this guy was a grand cracker of a man,
Mhm.
and I just think that again back to the point of like what happened and who is he. I don't think he was the easiest person to work with. And maybe at the same time, it's not even that. It's also like him not wanting to be in the spotlight anymore. Like
Mhm.
him working on himself,
Okay.
which is like more than fine with me. Because we've talked about fame and we've dissected fame in this podcast for a bunch of episodes. Most recently, Elvis, right? And just like people need breaks. People need to reevaluate their lives. So it could be that too. Um, is The Mummy your favorite movie of his of all time, or is this the new favorite?
Probably this, but I think George of the Jungle was better.
So you're a George of the Jungle fan?
Yep.
Come on, bro, give it to me. What was your favorite scene in George of the Jungle?
I don't remember.
Well, you're not a real fan then. Just my favorite scene. I think there was a scene which I think they wouldn't make today, where the villain got sexually abused by a gorilla, and the gorilla was like looking at him with, like
Oh
cute
yeah, yeah,
eyes.
yeah. I
And
remember.
he's like, no, no more.
Like eat, eat. No, how'd the song go? Eat
There it is. Um, that kind of leads me to expectations for this movie. So, the resurgence of Brendan Fraser, coupled with a good director like Darren Aronofsky, it's bound to bring hype to the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, add to the fact that like the weirdness of this movie, like Brendan Fraser playing a 600-pound man, right? What were your expectations? What was your hype level going into this movie?
I was pretty sure I was gonna like it. And when I watched it, it was better. Or yeah, it was better than I thought it would be. And it was still, I still thought it was gonna be good.
Uh-huh.
When I watched it, just how viscerally real it was.
Uh-huh.
Like it didn't hold back at all in any of his addictive ways.
Yeah, that's true. I going in, my expectation was high, and I was pretty amped. Didn't look at any of the trailers, but as time got closer, I was hearing like murmurs that like obviously what Fraser's doing is amazing, but the movie's just like it's not that good.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of hampered my expectations. I was like, okay, it's probably not going to be the best movie, but Fraser's going to be amazing in this. And like you said, after watching this, you thought it was
Amazing.
amazing?
Oh, you want my?
Oh, sure.
It's good.
Oh. I think that's two straight. It's good, right? What was the last episode?
Not Babylon.
Was it Glass? It was Glass. It was
What?
Glass Onion.
Oh, Glass Onion.
No, it wasn't good.
Hmm.
It was good. It was really good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
For all those reasons you said, right?
Yeah.
Anything other than just the visceral nature of the movie?
Yeah. It's just almost cathartic seeing it.
How so?
Just seeing, not that I'm at his level, but seeing someone who has like an addiction, and then like just when he has like something go wrong, he's like, "Well, time to go eat."
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a movie like that where it's usually like addiction movies or like heroin, like stuff nobody can ever relate to, you know?
Right.
But this is like more grounded than what an average person could do.
Mm-hmm.
Not like how am I going to get heroin? I don't know anyone, you know? I could get food. I could get 5 pizzas.
So you think the fact that they tackled the subject of obesity makes it a more general, not general, but like kind of everyone can kind of relate to that? They can relate to it more than they can a movie about drug addiction?
More easily, I would say.
Okay. And also, you don't see, obviously the food in this movie is Charlie's drug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see movies depicting food as a drug.
Yeah.
It's always like you said, heroin, cocaine, the abuse of like hard drugs. But it's rare we see movies tackling food addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a breath of fresh air. For me, I liked the movie. It was good, but I didn't enjoy it.
Well, like hard to watch or
hard to watch, but in general, just like its vibe was like super somber and just like this guy's gonna die.
Yeah.
It was melodramatic in that
But
sense.
it felt hopeful the whole time still.
Yeah, there was a sense of hope, a sense of optimism from the Charlie character, but he was in this predicament that it was almost set up to become a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Like, all the characters are contributing to increase the stakes of this movie, and it just so happens that they're all coalescing at this tipping point, creating this essentially like an explosion of a movie in 5 days, quote unquote, right? And the fact that it's so set up, it's so like deliberate that everything's happening at one point, kind of makes me be like, okay, it's
unrealistic.
It's unrealistic, but I understand the motive.
I think it's a byproduct of it being a play. So like it would be that set, and then like one person leaves, if one person comes in,
right,
that sort
right,
of thing.
Right.
And when you adapt it, like the quote issues of its original thing are gonna come along with it.
True. Like maybe given that you are creating a movie, you shouldn't stick to the script so close, but at the same time, by having Charlie, the Charlie character, stay in his room the whole time, you're still making it realistic, right? Because the reality is a man who is that big would not want to go outside, and he's only that big because he doesn't go outside, right?
Right.
So expanding it out to like another part of another setting would probably not be it could be good, but it wouldn't be true to the character, right?
I mean, with the little they had, it felt like he did a pretty good job at making the place feel not like the same thing over and over.
True.
Because like a room unlocked, like, oh, there's somewhere else to go. Then the bathroom, oh, like there's something else there. It shows them like showering and stuff, like Jesus. And then they go outside for a second, like, oh, you could see a little bit outside. And then the kitchen too, like every like bit had like a scene where it wasn't like, oh, he's always on the couch.
And now that you mentioned that, it's almost like those different areas that he travels to are distant lands.
Yeah.
Because of how hard it is for him to travel. He's a 600-pound man, and they show it in the movie. Every time he moves, it takes like essentially like me squatting 3 45-pound weights on each side, you know?
Yeah.
It's a significant effort. And his move from the couch to the kitchen is probably a new setting in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. He does a good job of saying, like, we only have a limited space, so let's make everything kind of flow and make it unique in its own way.
Like Hateful Eight, same kind of concept. But I think this one did it better.
Limited space.
Yeah. Making like scenes out of what you have.
Yeah. I think that's credit to Aronofsky, yeah. And also another credit to Aronofsky is like he has it feels like you're in, I don't know if you ever watched the documentary about Kurt Cobain, Montage of Heck. And it's like, it's basically the same tone of this movie where everything's green, dark, and like dying.
Mm-hmm.
And this film, in his place, it's always raining outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like 50% dark,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's messy. And it's credit to Aronofsky and his team to make that setting.
Yep.
And did you notice that the ratio of the movie, the frame, was a square instead of a rectangle? I think that's like basically saying like he's so confined. Yeah, he's so boxed into his place. It's another probably metaphor that he's using, which, I mean, it kind of works too because it's less cinematic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the movie isn't cinematic because you're in a room the whole time. So why do you need a widescreen to show a room? It's a good idea from him. But just like I said, the movie's good, but I do feel like they're shoving the emotions down my throat.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a movie, so I understand. I think ultimately it's just like not my kind of movie, but the core themes, like you were mentioning earlier, they resonate and they're very apropos for this time.
Right.
You can, any kind of drug, like you can kind of like use and blueprint it, like layer it over this movie. Like even social media, like the way people gorge themselves with content is another metaphor you can use instead of food. Fraser.
The show?
No, Brendan Fraser.
The person.
The person.
Okay.
He's really good. I mean, like, he's a one-man show for this. Obviously, there's other good supporting roles. Shout out to
all of them.
Sadie Sink and Hong Cho, but
and Ty.
Tyler.
Ty.
His name's Ty. Brendan's doing a lot with his face and like with the subtle nuances of his acting, and it's something that he's always been good at. Just like he's a good actor. Like he has a lot of he controls his voice so much, and he knows how to act.
Yes. And
it could be like taken for granted, or it has been taken for granted because he's been in a lot of like comedic roles, but he is amazing.
Yes.
And interesting to see where he goes from here. This is his like comeback tour. I saw his like Critic Choice Award reception, whatever, his speech, and he was just like bawling his eyes out. I do have like this weird feeling about him.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty good at this, like in my life, like this guy.
Want to hear the story that I know?
Okay.
I heard he was
a great person.
Accosted in a vulgar way by an executive in the studio way back, and that's what caused the blackballing.
I heard of that too.
And like he was in a divorce where he like lost most of it because I think he got married before he got famous, and then after he was rich, he had to go through that divorce and lose like everything.
Yep.
And then he got blackballed, so then he couldn't work. So he was like in this.
And he was probably depressed.
Well, I think they just made him depressed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that just turn him into the whale.
No, I understand that, but the thing I'm saying is like, I feel like he's hypersensitive, which is also why he's probably a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the ceremony where he was giving his speech, I felt like he was acting. Like, I know he has real emotions and he's crying and he's like, thank you, and like, I made it. But at the same time, it's very showy. You know?
I feel like it's real. Just like after all he's been through, like this has been 20 years. If I went through that for 20 years and then I finally got a role and got like an award and everyone's clapping for me, I would not be sane. I would just be pooping myself on the stage.
And you're right. And to be fair, like, they are actors and they're already broken.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're actors because they're broken.
Yeah.
And they're more likely to have a little oomph in their life.
And I think they could, like, more easily call on those emotions. Like, if...
Right, but do you need to... Are you calling on that emotion to, like, I need to really give it a...
But I think it's, like, the same thing. Like, you could either call on it or just... Since they're so used to accessing that emotion, like, in a therapy sort of way, they're like, oh, I can just straight up cry now. Like, I'm not holding anything back.
Gotcha.
And it just comes out. Whereas, like, if some... Like a Steve Jobs, if he lost... I think, well, he did. He lost his company for, like, 5 years or whatever. And he came back. In same situation, he wouldn't cry because he doesn't have like that ability to like reach in like an actor would.
He doesn't have the he's not open to be vulnerable.
Like mentally he probably feels that, but he doesn't have that skill that actors just get from the job.
Right.
So like they have it both ways. Like they got the skill and it helps them actually access their emotions.
I can see that. I kind of actually, now you're convincing me, because like at the wedding when I was like giving speeches, I was like so ready to cry because I think it's easy for me to cry. And then like a regular person who doesn't cry often, they wouldn't cry because it's like they don't cry often and it's not easy for them. So at the wedding, it's like anything emotional, I was like, Yahoo! Mario. That's so good. Is the new Mario movie going to be good?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. So you said earlier that you think the actors are good in this movie.
Yeah.
Not just Brendan, but not just Charlie, but the Ellie character, the Liz character, the Ty character.
Yeah.
They are good, but back again to my critique is like they're cranking the level to 10 on their acting. And the director and the writing as well is cranking the level to 10 on the conflict of the movie, you know? From Ellie, the daughter character, being such a little piece of shit. Like, I get that there's kids who have serious attitude problems. But it's hard to accept this character being so bananas. And so mean and so cruel, you know? And then also with the Liz character, it's hard to accept that she's like this character that loves Charlie, that wants to take care of him because she feels empathy for him and she feels bad because he was in a relationship with her brother who passed away, right? But how was she like... It's hard for me to put it to words. Like, she's always the one giving him food, you know? Like, enabling him and then critiquing him at the same time.
Because she loves him. She loves him, Adrian.
You know what I mean?
No.
It's hard to imagine a character like this. It's hard even to imagine a character like Ty, because he's like spilling his life story to this 15-year-old.
Yeah. But One by one. I'll go one by one.
Yeah, sure.
Sadie Sink.
Ellie, sorry.
I believe her as a character because what her dad did to her is pretty insane. Like, literally, I know they kind of go over it through the end, but pretty much abandoned her for a man and coming out and never actually talking to her again. Like, that is like insanely traumatic to however old she was.
True.
Well, she's like 14 or 15.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably happened when she was 5, like the most formative years ever. That's gonna like absolutely annihilate her brain, and which makes sense. Ty, work my way up. The
The pecking order.
yes, Ty. His core is like that insane religiousness, like mentality that like those religious people have, where they want to save everyone and they can't see anything like past God. I could see where he has that mentality. Like, I don't agree with it, but I understand people like that exist, right?
Yes, they do.
And his like pretty traumatic change of scenery, like he ran away, stole money, like that, and he was pretty much near suicide. Like, he had no money left. His last hope was saving this one person who was not savable. So him confessing was pretty much, in a way, like some like metaphorical suicide. Like, what else? I'm just gonna lay it all out. I have nothing else in my life. What's her name?
Liz.
Liz, the caretaker
/ nurse, yeah.
nurse. I believe that because I assume they were pretty good friends when her brother was alive. I assume they were all like kind of chummy. And I assume Brendan Fraser he had that same mentality of like super nice, optimistic, pure, smart, intelligent, etc. And I could see why he would have a friend like her, because she's super empathetic, super like a good person.
I see that, yeah.
But when he devolved into what he was, it's not like he actually changed as a person. He just has this addiction now, but he's still himself.
Mm-hmm.
And Liz, I don't think she's the type to be like, oh, you're fat now, you're not who I thought. Like, he's still him. So I can see that relationship where she would do anything for him, i.e. like caretaker and all that, but he still has to eat, and she's enabling him, but like if she leaves, he will literally die because he has no one else.
I just think that movies, you're right on all accounts. Like, the characters aren't unbelievable; they are believable. But I don't know how movies that do this, that make like the characters like the fulcrum of all the conflict in one short period, makes it kind of feel like a soap opera. And I don't know if that's taking away from, like, I'm still trying to process that. Like, does that take away from my enjoyment of the movie? Because there's an end scene which we'll talk about, where obviously you're meant to cry. You're meant to like feel all the emotions. And like, they almost got me.
You're not going to get me this time.
But I was like, I know what you're doing. You know, like, it's kind of like manipulation of emotion. Manipulation through the setup. But that's at the same time, like, that's what all movies are.
Yeah. Like a huge action fight scene. Like, oh, you're just manipulating CGI, so I think this is cool. And this isn't actually cool.
Right. And even in, like, a more realistic, drawn-out movie that's a little bit more humanistic, even that is still trying to do the same thing, but they're using a more nuanced way, right? But why do I critique this movie and not the more nuanced way? Like, at the end of the day, they're still trying to achieve the end result. I guess it's like personal taste at that point.
I think it's still from like the play, just because plays are a little more like,
Right. Yeah.
like dramatic like that.
Some reason they're Italian too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I guess what I'm trying to realize that my critique is like invalid. Like I'm trying to like poke holes in my own critique.
Right.
I like the depicting of obesity in this movie because like
Nice and big.
nice and juicy, man. You know, I love my men nice and plumpy.
Plump.
Um,
Plump.
I've always thought of obesity as like it's sad.
They're going to say funny.
No, I've always thought of it as well. I shouldn't say always. As an adult, I've seen it more like, damn, that's sad. You know, like it's sad that people are that obese. But on the flip side of that, I've always thought of it with the same way I thought of it as sad. I was like, they should fix themselves.
Weakness.
You know, like stop being fat, man. Like, it's sad. Like, get better. But this movie does a good job of really underlining that it's not that they are choosing to be fat, but being addicted to a drug is a snowball effect. Like, you're sad, so you do a drug, and because you do that drug, you are now sadder, and it's harder to get out of that hole. And you keep going and going and going, and once you're in so deep, it's incredibly hard to get out of that drug, whether that's food or whether that's cocaine. And the movie doing this, showing me this side of this food addiction, I haven't seen it before, and I applaud them for doing that. You don't see that too often. And visually, how Aronofsky depicts the gargantuism of Charlie is crazy. Just like he's in a fat suit, and I think there's like a little bit of CGI, right? There has to be. Parts of it feel digital. No, not at all. Okay. There's the moments where Charlie gets up from the couch and he moves, feel like so huge. Like the first time he got up, and I think the soundtrack plays a part of this too. Like there's a part where it's like, and it feels like Godzilla, you know, but just like a very sad Godzilla.
Yeah.
And then
Hogzilla.
Oh, Ivan.
He's not real.
Okay, but what about the people that look like this and they feel bad?
They don't watch this.
But what if I want them to watch this?
They're not gonna fight us.
Say sorry right now.
I'm sorry.
Okay. You were mentioning earlier the eating. You know, like how whenever Charlie is sad, whenever he's mad, he goes to food. And when I say he goes to food, he just like annihilates a Snickers bar in one bite.
That was good. But I was salivating during the pizza scene. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, that looks so satisfying.
Yeah. Like the one that I hated was like the KFC scene where he's eating the fried chicken. I was just like, oh, duh. My wife was like, I'm about to throw up. But when he ate the pizza, I was like, my man. Ooh. But yeah, like all that, how they depicted that was cool. Cool. I shouldn't say cool, but it was like
rad,
visually engaging.
Yeah.
And you don't see that in movies.
Mm.
I think the premise of homosexuality, I mean, I feel like the play is like older, so like how they depicted homosexuality is kind of dated, but it is also set in like Idaho or Iowa, right?
Yeah.
But depicting homosexuality as like a very bad thing, and how religion plays a part into this. It's for me, it's kind of like, God, like obviously being gay isn't bad, but we are in a very liberal. We're in San Diego, you know, it's not that bad,
right,
as it is over there. But they really drive home like the idea of like how when you're not accepted, how debilitating that could be, which I can relate to because like even high school type of stuff, like when you're not included in a certain thing, just like how that can break you. I was like listening to a podcast. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast with like Louis C.K. and Joe Rogan, and he was saying that he had a friend that he was the cool kid, and he had like the power to say, "You're not in the club," you know. And there was this time when he was with the cool kid. Louis C.K. was with the cool kid, and a guy came up and he's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" He's like, "Sorry man, it's over." He's like, "I used to be cool. What happened?" He's like, "You're just not cool anymore." And this was when he was like 10 years old.
It's embarrassing.
And just that the fact that like that's always happening in society, that people are just being pushed away, and that causes so much pain for people. Enough pain that they depicted in this movie where one of the characters essentially kills himself, you know? And I think the biggest thing that they're really like hitting on in this film is like bad parenting. Just I think that even that more so than the addiction to food. How two people who essentially are not the best parents create this demon child.
But she was good. She was good.
Yeah. That's my next point. Like, even though she is a demon child, even though she does evil things, she is still good at her core. You know, like she still has potential.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of like every time you look at like a homeless person or someone who looks crazy, like they were once a kid too.
Right.
Like they had a future, but some things went bad and they got to where they're at.
Yep.
I don't know, like it kind of makes me not like, to me that makes Charlie a worse character than him being a drug addict or food addicting. You know, like being obese is one thing, not being there for your kid is horrendous, and you can see what it manifests.
But he wanted to. But there was like things in the way, and even mentally, he said like he didn't think he was allowed to be in her life after what he did to her. And then she was like, "I don't care. You're my dad." And he's like, "Oh man, I wasted 20 years."
Exactly.
But you don't know that until that conversation. You just like in your head, you have your own reasons why you shouldn't do something.
Yeah. That's almost like another thing I talk, like when I think about those kind of situations, I'm like, just do the right thing, man.
Yeah.
But that's easy for me to say because I have like those morals.
You have morals.
I have morals, damn it.
Yeah.
And I guess the Charlie character has like deep-seated issues that make it impossible for him to address minor conflicts. I think that's the big thing, right? Like, why doesn't he just
be real?
Why can he just not stop eating fried chicken every night and having two pieces a night, you know? Like, it's easy for me to say don't do it, but for people with mental issues, they can't stop. Oh man, so sad. What do you think is the meaning behind the title The Whale?
I don't know. I feel like I have to read Moby Dick to really get it.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
But
I know I read the Moby Dick in high school, but
it makes me want to read it because that her essay made it sound like deeper, and I'm trying to, like, when I was younger, I didn't look for the metaphors at all.
Right. I was just like, oh, a whale getting killed. What a boring story.
Yeah. But now, like, I like reading more. And it's still hard for me to read just because it's hard. But I see those metaphors a lot more, and I'm like, right, delicious.
Well, what you're talking about, for the people who haven't watched the movie, is that the daughter character, she writes an essay when she's like younger, I guess. I don't know exactly when, 8th grade, I think. And the essay is about the book Moby Dick, and she's describing the book. And the Charlie, the character, he recites the essay because he thinks what his child wrote is the best essay ever. It might not be, but essentially it's something that deeply affects him because he's like, damn, I created this child and she wrote this. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Which is completely true. Like, when you realize like the thing you created has like a mind of its own, it'll blow your brain away. I know from experience because
Relax.
I'm a father.
Hey, I got a dog. Pretty much the same thing.
when your dog Motas, by the way, when your dog Motas eats her food, you're like, damn, that's my
She's just
child.
living life. Sometimes she's like on the couch looking out the window, just watching. Like, you live your life.
You're like,
I'm proud.
I made you.
Yeah.
I made you. But the essay that she wrote, essentially, she says something like, Moby Dick is a great book, and I love it because I can relate to it. The reason I can relate to it is because whenever the chapter where the author describes whales is so boring,
Mm-hmm.
I know it's boring because he's trying to distract himself from his own life, from his own problems.
Yeah.
And I feel that. I think the meaning behind that is, I guess, like,
Addiction.
yeah, addiction. Like,
He's addicted to catching that whale instead of dealing with the fact like his mom didn't love him or something.
correct. Also, there's a metaphor to be said with the daughter character and Moby Dick,
Mhm.
the Ahab character, trying to kill the whale. Like, I need to kill this whale to get revenge for all these things that they've done. Whereas, is she more like the other character in Moby Dick, Ishmael, who's like the narrator,
Oh.
and who's like more interested in the whale, in understanding like the conflict,
Right.
versus Ahab, who's like, I need to kill this motherfucker. And I don't know if the movie the title of the movie, The Whale, necessarily means the Charlie character. Like, I think it's more like the elephant in the room, like the issues that we
Mhm.
deal with,
Right.
how large things can be, and we just don't address them. It could be that too. What else, Ivan? Oh, this is good. I want his life for 1 year without the health repercussions.
You want to be that fat, or you want like to?
I
Be
want to
served?
eat 2 pizzas a night,
Oh.
sit on the couch all day, possibly have like a job where I'm just like talking to people about their essays.
Adrian, that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants that.
But my modifications were like, I would watch like wrestling all day.
Oh, jeez.
Like, I would just, I've always wanted, like, sometimes I think about like people in the Midwest. Shout out to them. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, but like, I feel like they're very simple-minded.
Stupid.
Yeah. No, just kidding. Not all of you are like that. But generally, I think about like the demographic of WWE,
Mhm.
and I'm like, they drink Mountain Dew, they
Mhm.
eat pizza,
Coors Light.
Coors Light, and the room is a mess.
Yeah.
They don't clean at all.
Yeah.
And they just like come home from their 9 to 5, which is like Walmart,
Mhm.
and all they want to do is watch some wrestling. And that's what I want to do for like 1 year of my life.
Right.
But like you said, that when he was eating the pizzas, I would love to eat 2 pizzas a night.
Mm.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think the room smelled like?
Pizza.
You think so? 'Cause like, did you see his like where he slept?
Yeah.
You think he washes any of that?
Nah, it's very dusty, musky food, like a little hint of rot.
Oh, oh. All I could think of, like, whenever someone was close to him, I'm like, he must smell so bad.
Yeah. But I thought that, but then like it's crazy how that like the what's her name? Liz?
Yeah.
Was like hugging him and
Yeah.
like cuddling.
Yeah.
Like that's love right there. Like Jesus Christ, love is crazy.
Yeah. When Charlie goes into his room and he lays down and then he grabs the 2 liter of Pepsi and he's like drinking it to go to sleep. I'm like,
Nightcap.
oh, so bad.
So good.
Shout out to Talladega Nights where like they're having like family dinner.
Yeah.
And they're eating pizza, wings, and like all the bad stuff. So good. Any online class stories you have for me? Like, have you ever had an online class with like 16 people and they're all like
Or teacher's fat sort of thing.
anything?
Nah. No.
Okay, that's fine. I have a review for you from the New Yorker.
Tear this down.
Ready?
Yeah.
This is from the New Yorker by our boy Anthony Lane. Regarding The Whale. Few actors have done more to promote the power of innocence than Brendan Fraser. That's a very, I won't say his own line, but like when you think about George, The Mummy, Blast from the Past, have you ever seen that? Bedazzled, they're always innocent characters, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they underline anything else that they have as character traits, they're innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a good job. Brendan Fraser is in that. I continue. What stymies the film, though, is not so much the confined space in which it unfolds. Hitchcock may do with less in Rope and Rear Window, which you
I already hate this review.
as the stagey clunk with which other characters enter and exit the space. I half expected Charlie to exclaim, "Goodness gracious, who could that be at this hour?" as
Oh
we
my
hear
God.
a knock on the door. The Whale is laughably earnest, larded
I hate this guy.
with melodrama,
This guy sucks.
and designed to shut down the long-standing association of human bulk with high spirits. That's true, though. Like, it wants to shut down the long-standing association of human bulk with high spirits. Like, usually in TV shows, movies, the fat guy is like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Here.
He still is.
No,
He has the energy. Remember when like your daughter's the devil? Like, she's the best person ever.
that was kind of annoying.
I liked it though.
Yeah, I know, but come on,
But it goes against what he just said, so his whole review's wrong.
got him. If it proves nonetheless to be staringly watchable, we have Brendan Fraser to thank. Returning to the spotlight, he continues to radiate an essential sweetness of nature. His line readings have lost none of their soft quizzicality, and he even ventures a giggle. What do you think?
Overall, that critic is a hack.
Yep.
He makes some salient points,
Uh-huh.
but he should not have that job.
Uh-huh.
Nobody should have that job.
And
He sucks.
okay.
He's the whale.
Ivan, out of 5,
Whales.
yeah?
Yeah.
Out of 5 whales, how many whales is there?
5 whales, Adrian.
Jesus Christ. So this is, what was the whale on your top 10 list?
It wasn't on there because it wasn't.
You should have done it, Ivan.
You?
Because now you can't put the whale in 2023. It's a
But
movie
didn't-
from last year. I didn't say that. I didn't say out of the movies we watched.
Okay, then it's 1.
It's number 1?
Sure.
Better than everything?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Damn. So this is your type of movie. This is like,
I just love how gross it was. Like, honest grossness. Like, it just, like, not even just the food, just how gross people are. But they're still, like, very pretty people. Not, like, beautiful, like souls.
right. Even though they are this gross, they can be, they're still
Yeah.
human.
Yeah. Like, everything everywhere had that, too.
Uh-huh.
Like, they're all kind of gross people. but they're still beautiful too. And I want that honesty. I don't want, and that's what we're going to, like the gray area, gray side sort of thing.
But it is honest in that sense, but it's also dishonest of how how everything is deliberate.
Yeah, but it's a story.
Okay.
Like just a fake story. So that's like.
So The Whale's your number one movie of the year?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I have to edit the last podcast. That's fine. Out of 5 whales, I give it a 4 whales. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Darren Aronofsky, are you gonna see more of his movies?
Yeah, whenever.
You seen the what was the movies you seen? Sorry.
Wrestler.
Okay.
That's the only one.
Did you like The Wrestler?
Yeah, it was good.
But not as good as this.
You might like it more than me because it's wrestling.
Yeah, but not as good as this.
I don't remember it too well, but I don't think it's as good.
And Black Swan, not as good as this.
Black Swan might be better, but this is more my bread and butter.
Why?
Gross, literally gross, and
Not so.
it was
The
funny.
surreality of it was like, had like the fake parts were throwing you off. You're not into
What?
that kind of thing. The
For us.
Black Swan's fake like
I didn't
dreamlike
care about that.
sequences.
That didn't affect my.
The
It was
topic
just-
then.
Yeah, slightly not as relatable, just because I'm never gonna have that like.
You're not gonna be a
per-
ballerina, but you can.
No,
Oh.
I'll never have that perfectionist mentality like from Black Swan.
Yeah.
It's just not me. But I get it. It's just not me.
Mhm.
Whereas I could be the whale. Like that's a possibility for sure.
Yes, you can. I mean, I don't know the next movie. We'll figure that out later. But that's it for The Whale. It's time for a section called.
Things and such.
I got a good one for you, Ivan. The Oscars released their nominations.
Elvis has like 8 or
Wait.
7. Oh, my bad. I'm excited.
Oscars released their nominations.
Okay. Okay.
There's notable snubs.
Okay.
I think the snub specifically for you and me that we both would agree is Babylon didn't get nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. Well, who's best picture? Let me see if it's.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Another snub, Babylon at least got nominated. The one movie that absolutely got shut out, snub central, Nope. No nominations. The one big snub for Nope, like,
I think like technical direction. Like
Yeah,
whatever, that should have been.
is a cinematography.
Okay.
It got snubbed out of that, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, Babylon kind of makes sense for like Best Picture because like people didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, like I get that if people don't like it, then
Okay.
it shouldn't be Best Picture, right?
Right.
But Nope to not get anything, that's insane, dude. That's like a vendetta against our boy Peele,
Probably.
and it's his best movie. Well, I shouldn't say it's not his best movie. Get Out's better.
Yeah.
Best Picture nominees.
Say like a nominee reader.
Okay. You know, every year
Oh wow.
movies come out and they affect us.
Nicole Kidman.
I was thinking of that specifically when I said. But
Only 5.
only 10
Oh.
can be on this list for
There's
this year.
10?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Elvis. Top Gun Maverick. Everything, everywhere, all at once. And then, no more of that.
Oh,
So we have All Quiet on the Western Front. I haven't seen this movie.
I want to see it, but
This one over Nope? Are you freaking kidding me? How does All
you haven't
Quiet...
seen it.
Still, it's not going to be
You don't know.
Banshees, obviously. Like, put that there.
All right.
Tar, obviously, put that there. Avatar.
I mean,
Good job. Good job. Women Talking. I've been meaning to watch that. Ivan's not going to watch it because there's women in
Yeah.
it, but I really want to watch that. Triangle of Sadness is crazy because like I haven't watched it. I've heard it was okay,
Yeah,
but there's a lot of buzz around it.
I heard it was okay too.
And Fablemans. Yeah, basically. The
I think Spielberg, like Lifetime, always have his be nominated for Best Picture,
Yeah.
no matter what.
I honestly think Elvis shouldn't be there. Like it's not a best because even in your rankings of like why it's good, it's not good because of the movie. It's good because of the man. Like it introduced you to someone.
I don't think it's gonna win.
Sure, but why is Nope not like Nope is better than Elvis?
But I think Elvis is a little more
Showy?
just unique.
No, Nope is more unique.
No,
Elvis is just like
I mean, even like the editing, that I haven't seen a movie edited like Elvis where it's like,
well, you obviously
he's-
haven't seen Baz movies then.
still that doesn't take away from like most movies not being edited that like boom boom and then boom boom. It's just a spectacle, which is like,
That's what Nope is about. Nope
But-
is about a spectacle.
oh, then it probably didn't get nominated because it's like going against the biting the hand that feeds him sort of thing.
Well, technically, historically, the Oscars love movies about movies,
Right.
and Nope is in that category. It's a movie about the movie industry, and
But it's a little more metaphorical, though.
well, the whole thing is like capturing something to become famous, and also like the family is in the movie industry.
But it's also, it's saying that how that's bad, like it's going against that, which kind of goes.
Not really, cause like, Nope never like Tar. Like Tar, it never says it's bad.
Well, the motorcycle guy,
That's TMZ.
but it's the same like thought process of
True.
capturing spectacle.
I think the biggest critique was like the cinematographer who's like, just keep rolling, baby. Eat me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand your point. I just like the fact that Elvis is in there's I think that and All Quiet is probably the craziest ones for me.
You haven't seen it.
I know.
God, I love Elvis.
But like out of all these movies, Top Gun, everything, Banshees, Tar, Avatar, Elvis, we're all in our top 10s, either in yours or mine.
Come on.
The ones that weren't Fableman's Triangle because we didn't see Triangle, we didn't see Woman Talking, and we didn't see All Quiet. It is what it is. Ivan, it's time for a section called What's on the Telly? We're watching Last of Us.
Oh yeah, I watched both episodes.
What'd you think?
It's a good show.
It's a good show. I agree. It's very good.
I'm impressed by the set design because it's like I don't know how they're doing it, but it feels like a whole world.
Yeah, it feels real, huh?
Yeah.
There was parts where I was like, damn.
Yeah. It's like cars everywhere with vines growing out, like, and it looks natural. Like,
Buildings.
how do you do that?
Yeah, that's really good. My other thing is like, I feel since it's a zombie show, it's predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of predicted everything that's happened so far, and I think it's because it's like the zombie format. I hope as the show progresses, I'm just like amazed by something that happens.
Right.
Don't spoil it for me.
Okay.
You played both games?
I've watched through both games.
Jesus Christ. From like Twitch or something or like YouTube?
YouTube.
Was it fun watching it?
I just can't play scary games, but it was I liked it.
You get scared?
Yes.
I mean, I get scared too. but
Jeez.
like turning off all the lights.
No.
No?
It's just more like anxiety. Like I have to creep through. Like I know nothing's gonna happen. It's not that
You
it
think
just like
about-
it approaching me and then I get nervous and then I die. And that's like no fun.
right. You just suck at it.
Yeah.
Anything else you're watching?
I watched La La Land.
Me too. Wait. Before you say anything. I think I'm going to predict your review.
Okay.
And then you predict my review.
You love it.
Wait.
Oh.
I was going to go first. Jesus
Okay.
Christ. Your review is like, this is your review, okay? It's beautiful. Like, it looks amazing, but it feels dated. It's not my type of movie.
No.
Okay. Now wait. Don't say yours.
Okay.
Now you say my review.
I loved it.
Okay. What else?
That's it. I don't know you.
Ah, damn. Okay. What's your review?
It is a little dated, I'll be honest. I did like it. I didn't think it was. You're like close. I don't think it's dated, but that musical format isn't exactly me.
What did I just basically
That
said?
doesn't. It's not dated. It's just musical, like that specific.
Okay.
Like I'm good with Babylon musicals. That's different, you know.
Okay.
But it was super cool to see. Like cool and impressive how he transitioned to like a movie into like kind of a play Broadway sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, I'm specifically thinking of when they're after that party and they're like looking over purple LA.
Yes.
And it was like, it didn't look purple at first. Well, it did, but it looked like a regular movie. And then when they got there, it's like, oh, that's the stage. And it was like perfectly there. And then that was like how I knew it was turning into the musical part.
Right.
And it was just, I was just really impressed by that transition.
Right.
And all the musical stuff was super good. Like, it was good, but at times I was like, a little corny.
Yeah.
But it's the point.
Yeah.
But like, I liked it overall. Like story wise.
Yeah.
I was there for it. It was sad, heartwarming.
My review is beautiful.
What did I say?
It's freaking beautiful, but my issue with it is the writing. Like, I wasn't attached to the characters too much. Like, I get the story was impactful and all that, but like it just felt like the writing was lacking enough for me to be like, damn, I really connect with these characters and I really feel sad and I really feel all the emotions. And I think I realized that's like Chazelle's biggest weakness is his writing. Like, what he's really good at is making things look freaking beautiful, fun, fast. The movement of the camera, how the framing of everything, like, damn, this guy knows how to use a camera. But he needs someone to write the script to really bring out the character.
Like edit, not like completely, because I still like what he wrote.
I like his core idea.
Yeah.
Like, I like what he's interested in. I just don't like the execution of the writing.
Yeah.
And it was interesting too, because like I heard a lot of people say like La La Land is bad, like the smart critics. And I read their review and they're saying that it's because the guy, what's his name?
Ryan
Gosling, his character initiates all the action in the movie.
So it's sexist? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, it's like he's the one, he mansplains jazz to her.
But she needed it. Is that sexist?
She needs that. She needs a mansplaining. And he's the one that's like, you need to watch this movie. How does the actress not know about the movie and the jazz actor knows the jazz, you know?
I don't know.
Like, that's wait. That's their whole thing. Like,
yeah.
And then the other thing is like the white guy being the one that's interested in jazz. Like, isn't it more likely the black person?
Oh my God.
You know? And to all that, I have to say, like,
hats off.
No, I have to say, shut the F up.
Yeah.
And this is Chazelle's story. Like, the reason the man does everything is because maybe Chazelle is the guy. He's living through Chazelle's eyes, you know? Like, he's choosing to do that. It's another thing to say, like, I I'm not interested in the movie because I already seen a movie like this, which is fine. Like, yeah, men do most of the things in movies, and that's true. But you shouldn't critique a movie because that's the story he wanted to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be expecting something and like be sad that it's not that.
Right.
Another thing that pissed me off is like they were saying that he uses the old Hollywood style, like the backdrop of L.A. and all that, like how beautiful it looks as formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just like basically copying and pasting the style of old school musicals.
Some people would call that homage. Boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they said it's like it's not fun because he's just like copying and pasting. I'm like, that's because you're carrying that baggage. For me, I loved it. I love that look.
I hate critics so much. Like,
It is bad, right? Like
I know we're critics, but we're one of the good ones. But like every critic you've read, like they're kind of too wordy in a way where it's like, we get it. You went to Harvard. Harvard.
nice, I mean, I like that.
And then it's all like, well, it's like sexist things, like, or sexist, like,
Right.
well, technically this should have been this, and that has been done in this and this and that and that and this.
Yeah.
It's just like none of them are like, rarely is it about how it made them feel. It's just like a very technical analysis of like what it's doing compared to everything else.
To me, like that's a great point that you're saying. Like compared, what it's doing compared to everything else. Because like, are they kind of screwed? Are critics kind of screwed because of like their knowledge of history?
I think you could like compartmentalize if you wanted to, but I think they like saying, well, Hitchcock in this and then in this did this better, so this sucks.
Right.
But like, it's Hitchcock. He did his thing. Now we're here. They learned from him, obviously, because they watched his movies. They're not gonna do it as good because he's Hitchcock. Eventually, maybe someone will do it better than him, and then they'll be like, "What better than Hitchcock? It's impossible," and they'll praise him just because they did it better. But like, it doesn't really matter. Just have fun.
It makes me think of like, but it. Oh man, I have like all these ideas. I'm like fighting my own ideas. It makes me think of when I listen to like new hip hop that I like, and people say that the old heads are just like that's shit. And even someone like you say it's like bad.
Oh no!
That's why I was like, oh wait, but you do that. Like this idea of because it's not new, it's not good. But everything's derivative.
Then I'll fix my hip hop opinion. Hip hop opinion.
Hip hop opinion with Ivan.
I'll amend it. Let me change it to be a little more modern and stylish.
Okay.
Okay. It still sucks.
God.
But I don't dislike it because no, I'll fine tune it. There we go. I don't dislike it because of it's being derivative. Maybe I did at a point because I was like, oh, 21 did this 2 years ago sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was wrong if that's what my mentality was.
Okay.
But I think now it's still just violence and then sexism, which maybe in 2016 was fun and hip, but now it's a little like, let's move forward a little bit. Like the content is what I want to change, not the sound exactly.
So, rebuttal or question, I should say. If Quentin Tarantino makes another movie like, or no, I shouldn't say Quentin Tarantino. If there's another movie like Pulp Fiction that depicts sex, violence, and mayhem, would you be okay with that? Because in that case, it's similar to what you're saying. Like, we shouldn't talk about these things that I find morally incorrect.
I think it depends on the creator's intention. Because, like, Damien
Chazelle.
in Babylon, like, there's obviously a lot of problematic stuff in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's more showing it. Like, this happened. But I don't, just because I'm showing it doesn't mean
I agree with it.
But I think a lot of rappers today are like, yeah, I shoot people. I feel horrible saying that, actually.
Yeah.
I care about money and women more than anything else. And they mean that. They're like, oh, I'm not putting on a show. Well, maybe some of them are because they have to.
Yeah.
But I think a majority of them are like, that's literally their life.
Yeah. That's a good point because I do think that is true, but inherently music is something where you can be more immature.
Yeah.
You know? And movies are something that is a more mature thing. Like, I guess a better question is like, you're not okay with a movie like what's a big action movie that's just like dumb action?
Avengers. Well, even now, like, I'm kind of getting grossed out by Thor 4. Oh, no, sorry. Thor Love and Thunder. Just because at the end,
Pet peeve people.
like, he got the kids to just fight where they could probably literally die. And I'm amazed nobody died. But they couldn't have died because it's a Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of that, he recruits the daughter to just kill people.
Mm-hmm.
I think like 10 years ago, I would have been like, that was cool. But now I'm like, isn't this horrible? Isn't this actually horrible?
Guys, there's like someone sitting next to you. Hey, isn't this horrible?
This is actually the worst thing ever.
They're like, shut up, loser.
Yeah.
Wow. How did we get here? From where were we?
Rap. I was
Oh, critics.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're saying critics are bad because like they're too snobby.
Yeah. Oh, and then you were
And
like,
I was like, well, you're a hip hop snobber.
and then I appended it.
You went
Amended
hip hop
it.
opinion.
Yeah, my hip hop opinion. Hip hop opinions.
Opinion. Oh god. Speaking of hip hop opinion, Ivan, it's time for a session called "Really Be Bussin'." The only thing I got for you is that Drake had a concert in Harlem, and it was a good concert from what it looked like because he's like paying homage to Dipset.
I think he should just do like small tours, but like raffle system. 100 tickets. That's it. And you can't sell it. And if you sell it, you die. Drake kills you.
Drake kills
live on stage.
21 Savage is 21. Why?
Why do that?
Yeah, what is that solving?
World peace, first off. Just changing it up, doing something different. Like, these stadium tours are so like impersonal, it feels now.
I think this was Apollo, to be fair, so it wasn't like huge.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like a big theater is good, but I don't want stadiums anymore. I don't want arenas. It's just too much. Like, not that I want to meet him, but I kind of want to see him. You know?
Yeah, because like honestly, I don't want to go to a Kendrick concert at
Pachanga,
right?
Worst
I want to
name.
go to a Kendrick concert at House of Blues.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's more intimate. Not only like do you get closer to him, but it's like his message is closeness.
Yeah.
Even a Drake, like I would rather see him at House of Blues because being crammed with 18-year-olds jumping to what's his best jump song?
Jump man, jump man.
You bastard.
Literally.
That's way more fun than being at the top of a row, like doing a little jig. But money.
I would be okay with festival, like a festival sort of
I
thing.
can't do That
I would prefer that over stadium, but I would not. I don't really want that. I would want House of Blues.
like festival, you have to stand the whole time.
Yeah, but ideally, I would be rich and hire someone to stand for me.
Well, money. You're going.
Oh.
You the same guy that says no money goes to money. I don't know.
My bad. My bad, pimp. So I'm gonna say that now. My bad, pimp.
I don't know how I feel about
My
that.
bad, comma. Pimp.
Speak your truth, King.
Same energy.
Anything else?
Side note, we never talked about it, but there was a remix of an Elvis song mixed with Toxic by Britney Spears. Like, you know how you mentioned, like, I swear I heard Toxic. So they did that. They mashed it with his Vegas song. I've been listening to that.
But had a few good jams. With that.
Yeah. Like, I saw it, like, I was like, this is pretty trash without listening.
Yeah.
It's like, this is kind of horrible that they made this.
Yeah.
But I would like play, listen. I like it.
There's something like, well, obviously now that I got older, like I can listen to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney Spears without like as much shame as I did like in high school. Because I used to love that music when I was like 10, right?
Yeah.
But then once you're in high school, you're not allowed to listen to that music.
Yeah.
So now I listen to that music and I'm like, these songs slap.
Da-na-na-na-na.
It's Britney, bitch. Come on, man.
My bad, pimp.
What an ad lib. Like, probably he started the ad lib.
Yeah.
There's
Better.
like, cause like I was listening to. It's funny. I go through my like Apple Music discography.
Oh, I was so lost for a second.
And I'm just like, why do I have this new album from this rapper that I know I will never listen to again? So I delete it. And I'm like, I just listen to the classics and it's better. The only like album that I've listened to repeatedly that came out last year is probably from a new artist, like a brand new artist I've never listened to, is Steve Lacy's. Everything else is just like, listen to once, gone.
Yeah.
And that just shows that you shouldn't listen to everything.
I think generally people don't even listen to albums. Like, I think that's starting to go away.
Yeah.
And it's just reality.
Like, top 10 Billboard, right? One of the top 10 is Die For You by Weeknd.
Really?
Yeah, that came out 7 years ago.
Wow.
And I was like, why is that? Because I looked up The Weeknd on Apple, and on his top songs was Die For You. I was like, why is that? Why is that? Yeah. And then I saw on the news like, oh, Die For You was charted top 10. I'm like, why is that TikTok?
Yeah. It's changing. Things are changing. I think right now it's going to be bad just because people are aiming for that TikTok hit. So I think music is still going to be bad for a bit just because they want money, and that's always going to make bad art. But I think we're pretty ingenious people. Not us. Like, humanity is pretty ingenious, and we'll figure out someone will figure out like, oh, I can kind of use this TikTok thing to make something beautiful, and it'll be like a genuine expression, and it's going to be the next thing.
But the Chinese created TikTok to distract us.
Very true.
While they grow.
But what China...
Well, my child is using TikTok. The doppelganger child of her in China is going to be studying algebra.
This is a movie.
What?
This is a movie, isn't it?
Exactly. So, isn't it better for my child not to use TikTok at all?
Sure. But what China will never have is our powerful culture. They cannot create culture like us.
Because shouldn't we care more about saving the earth than creating a...
I think it's too late for that. It's kind of Earth.
Because I was like, I've been watching a lot of baby stuff. Maybe that's what I should have put for things and such. But like,
You have a baby?
baby on the way and like learning about babies.
Okay.
Like, how do babies work?
Just meeting babies,
Yeah.
talking to babies, seeing their life.
He said, "Hey, baby."
Little baby in a top hat. What's up, tits?
And they were saying that once that if you put a electronic in front of a child,
Stupid.
they become passive.
So it's like it quells the beast.
Yeah, but when you put like a wooden toy, they become
aggressive.
They're more inquisitive, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, well, I obviously won't show my kid my phone for the first 5 years.
You just like have something to show you, son. My phone.
And obviously that's what I want to do.
Ideally.
Like, this is what I want to do to my kid.
Okay.
The first 3 years, all arts and crafts, right?
It's like first 3 years, hip hop, basics.
Hip hop, the basics with Adrian Aronofsky. No, arts and crafts. That way they can stimulate their brain, right? And then year 3 to year 8,
career
regimen of movies and TV shows
Jesus.
that you need to watch.
So you'll give them a big screen instead of a tiny screen.
No, I'll take them to the movies, man. No, I don't know, cause like I want them to really take in good art, you know? Books. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Comic books.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard, man.
Yep.
By the time my kid's 2, there's gonna be a thing that hooks up to their brain to stimulate their brain.
Stimulate the senses.
Yeah. Ivan, any parting words for the beautiful people out there?
Not really.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with another episode of Peliculas with the Bros. TBD on the movie we'll talk about, but it will be interesting. Faux show. And they, what is it? What's the incredible Kendrick line? And they wanna. I'm not gonna even do it. We'll be back next week. Peace out.
Bye.